Well, hello there, Minecraft Bedrockians. My name is Eladrium, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock tutorial with your favorite cardigan-wearing Minecraft character. And in today's Minecraft Bedrock tutorial, I'll be showing you how to build this simple and easy to construct iron farm for your Minecraft Bedrock 1.18 worlds. And as always, before we get into the tutorial, let's talk a little bit about the mechanics of this farm. How exactly does it work, and what do the drop rates look like? And first and foremost, let's talk about the drop rates for this farm. This farm will produce you about 480 iron per hour, about 160 poppies, which you can use to convert into bone meal or just plant around however you see fit, and about 50 string per hour. And as a standalone farm, that's about as efficient as you can get using just this 16 by 16 area. There's not a lot more that we can do to make this more efficient and still keep everything in the overworld. Now, with regards to the actual mechanics of this farm, I think you'll find this farm really simple to build, and unlike other farms, this has a very simple system for managing all of your villagers. You don't need to do anything where you drop villagers or cart them around into very specific places. With this farm, all you need to do to make it work is drop some villagers in this little bed section we have here. But beyond the villager setup, this is a straightforward iron farm. It consists of a 16 by 16 area, which our iron golems spawn in. There is water throughout the entire farm, which pushes these spawned iron golems and cats down into a central lava trap system, which both kills the cats and the iron golems and collects their string and iron and poppies. Additionally, to make this farm a tad bit more efficient in the overworld, there is the use of magma blocks, which when the iron golems or the cats walk over, they will take additional damage, making their time in the lava trap just a little bit shorter. And while those strictly aren't necessary to get this farm up and running, they do help improve the rates just a little bit. And as you expand your farm and gather more resources in your survivor world, you can slowly replace the entire bottom of this farm with these magma blocks to increase your drop rates. But as I said, this farm is really simple and straightforward to build, and to put 480 iron per hour into perspective, after about 5 hours, you will have 2 full chests of iron for you to use. So in terms of efficiency, this is pretty good. But enough with the mechanics, let's dive into the tutorial. Now, to get started with this farm, we first want to find an 18 by 18 area as I have marked here. What I like to do is use wool or any other type of marker block that you want. Make an 18 by 18 area with this border being the outside of that. Along the edge of these, mark the center of those and then just make a little cross pattern into the center so you have these 4 blocks here in the center. This will be the absolute center of our farm. And right here, we're going to place down 2 double chests facing any direction you want. Then on top of those, we're going to want to place down 4 hoppers, each going down into this double chest we have. Once you have those hoppers in place a glass block in front of your hoppers, then place 4 rows of blocks directly on top of it. And you can go ahead and knock out that temporary block that you placed beneath it. This makes it very easy for you to look in the farm and monitor what's happening. And if there is any problems, fix it, though there shouldn't be any. And then on every other side, go ahead and build up 3 blocks high. Go ahead and jump in the center area here. Place 2 buttons on each side, and then you're going to want to fill in the area directly above the buttons with lava. This will allow things to fall down into this, and as they fall down, they will take damage from the lava. Your cats will fall through it and they will die eventually, and your iron golems will continue to take damage as their heads will connect with it. And then once you have 1 more row of blocks on top of this, go ahead and get some magma blocks. If you aren't able to get magma blocks yet in your world, these can just be normal blocks. I've just found that magma blocks help a little bit with the spawn rates. And build a square all the way around this containment area that we have set up here as so. Once you have your magma cubes in place, you're going to want to extend out on each side of the farm, 7 blocks total, as I've shown here. And then on the outer edge, place 2 blocks on top of that on each side, and then knock out the blocks beneath them. Once you have these 2 corner blocks in place, go ahead and connect all of these corners together as shown here in a little square, and then fill in the entire farm with the block of your choice. It really doesn't matter which block you're using. If you're like me, you can use sandstone. It looks great. Additionally, in each corner, you're going to want to place down any block of your choosing, and then along the diagonal from that corner block to your center, go ahead and fill that in with magma blocks. I found that most of the spawns of this will occur along one of these diagonals, which makes it very easy to have your mobs get some little extra damage before they end to the lava trap. Next, along the outside edge of the farm, you're going to want to place down leaves along the entire border here. This will prevent iron golems from spawning on this edge and not properly falling into this. But since you're in Minecraft 1.18, why don't you use some of these beautiful azalea leaves? They'll make your farm look really pretty, I promise. But once you have this outer border done, on top of each of these corner blocks, you're going to want to place down a block of water and make sure that this spreads out all the way. And as you can see here, this isn't quite enough to cover everything. So from each corner, we were going to want to go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you keep these 2 center blocks here not filled in with water. And as you can see, water will flow from that outside edge and from the side walls all the way to that center here. And then again, just repeat this on each side here, and you will see very slowly as you fill this in that this water will flow all the way to the center here, but it will not fall into your lava. If for some reason you overfill this and fill it somewhere and it causes spill in your lava, don't worry, it'll just create obsidian. You can place some temporary blocks down, use grass blocks or dirt or whatever you have on hand to clear your water out, and then try again. And at this point, our farm should be looking a little something like this. Make sure that you don't have any stagnant water and that all the water is moving from each side, and most importantly, hasn't fallen into your lava. But the next step of this iron farm build is to create our villager platform. And to do that, we're going to want to build up 3 blocks above the center here and then create ourselves a 6x8 platform. This 6x8 platform will have all of our beds and all of our workstations on it. And the only thing you don't need to build in the 6x8 area is these 2 corner blocks on each side of the platform. It's really important you don't have those filled in because this will fit 20 beds perfectly for all of our villagers. Next, we're going to want to place our beds down, and it's really important that we do this in a very specific orientation and placing the first bed down with the head facing to the exact center and also in the center spot. You're going to want the heads of these beds all sort of pointing into the center as I have shown here. This will keep the village area that our villagers are in very contained. Next, we're going to want to build a little outer wall for this. I recommend just placing a temporary block, knocking it out, then placing a block on top of it, doing that in each of the corners of this build here. And then once you have that in place, you can go ahead and knock out this temporary platform. If you have this platform here, your iron golems unfortunately won't be able to get past it and they'll just be stuck there forever and ever. So you do need to knock this out. But now moving back on up to the top, you're just going to want to build a wall all the way around these bed platforms. You don't need to have the corners in place, so you can just continue that all the way around as I have shown here. And then once you have these in place, you're going to want to get a workstation block. I recommend getting a fletching table. Fletching tables are really easy. They only require flint and a few pieces of wood to build, but you can really use any block that you find. Fletching tables are just really kind of cheap. And then you're going to want at least 20 of them, and then you're just going to want to place them down on top of all of the blocks that you have here. On each side, you'll have 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you'll have another 6 over here, that will give us 12. And then along each side, you can just place in 2 in each of these corners. You don't need to fill in these middle sections, so you can just pop them in with regular blocks that you have. And then finally, on top of all these blocks to prevent spawning, go ahead and get some azalea leaves, or maybe just any other leaf that you have available, and place around this. And at this point, our iron farm is more or less complete. The only thing we have left to do is to fill in this bed section with all of our villagers. We don't need to do any crazy aligning of our villagers, throwing them in a 1x1 area, water at their feet, or trapdoors over the head. We just need to really throw them into this area. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can get villagers into this, but honestly, the easiest way is to just build a nether portal as shown here and fill in the back, light it, and then place some trapdoors down so your villagers can fall into it. If you're using my villager farm design, it's very easy just to create a nether linked portal to this and then ship your villagers from your villager containment center in the nether all the way over to this portal. Make sure you place some trapdoors down in front here, and then fill in the sides just a little bit so that your villagers coming out of the portal don't accidentally jump over it and fall into the lava below. On the nether side, like I said, it's very simple just for you to push a villager into here. If you're using my nether farm with my villagers, you can simply throw them in a minecart and then push that minecart all the way to this area. And of course, once you have them in here, they will just fall into this area with no problem whatsoever. You'll want to repeat this process until you have this filled up with 20 villagers. And once you have it filled up with 20 villagers, the last thing you'll want to do just to mark this as an official village is to get one of these bells that you can get from any village in the world and then just place it in one of the corners. And finally, to make sure that your villagers don't despawn and require you to transport them all over again, I recommend you make 20 name tags. Just name them Iron Farm Villager or whatever you want, and then give a name tag to each of your villagers. In Bedrock, this name tag functionality will prevent them from despawning. Additionally, what you can do to help with despawning is do an initial trade with them. Because these are Fletchers, they will trade you for sticks, which I'm sure you can get plenty of from any type of wood that you want. Between the name tag and the villager trades up to level 1, these villagers should never despawn, even with any of the bugs that you have in Bedrock. And at this point, our iron farm is now complete. As soon as you have those 20 villagers in, you should start seeing both cats and iron golems start to spawn in this area. Because of that lava, they will flow and be pushed into it, and then they will die very, very quickly. You can have up to 2 iron golems with this farm spawn at a time, but after one of them dies and you collect the loot from it, another one will spawn very shortly afterwards. And because we are constantly killing and spawning new iron golems, this farm will run both day and night as long as you are in the nearby loaded chunk. But that's all the time that we have for today in this Minecraft Bedrock tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did find this video useful, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and sharing the video. It really helps this channel reach more people, and it will also help other Bedrock users just like you find an iron farm that will get them all the iron that they could possibly need. But like I said, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.